My name is Max, and I'm 31 years old. I work for Perfect Paver Company, and I've been working here for a little over 2 years, going on 3 so far, and I'm loving it. So I chose American Foundation for Suicide Prevention because personally, when I was younger, I actually, I kind of was bullied myself. I was overweight when I was younger, so a lot of people picked on me for that. And later on in life, I had my own issues. I wasn't really getting bullied too much anymore. I lost weight, but I was dealing with other issues with depression and stuff. And I actually ended up, trying to commit suicide myself. And it's a little bit tough to talk about because I don't really talk about it to many people. But I shot myself in the head, and I somehow survived. And later on, I survived this big event that happened. I was hospitalized and had to go through therapy and stuff like that. It is a big thing. And once I kind of got out of that depression and tried to just be more positive, Try to do more positive things, be more positive to people. I realized that life was starting to get better in different ways. The start of getting better was hitting rock bottom continuously. It wasn't after I, shot myself, it wasn't just all great from there. It was just a lot of denial and I found that the thing you need to change most is always within yourself. If you ever want things around you to change, you have to change yourself. You have to change inside. If you want your job to get better, you have to be a better person at your job. You know what I mean? It's just there's so many things that played into it, but I feel like it was just taking a look at myself. I remember, back in high school, I noticed that there was a lot of bullying going around. I was riding the bus, and there was one of my best friends. He was picking on a kid that was just quietly minding his business, and I guess calling him weird, and he's quiet, and just bullying him. And I stood up and I was just like, hey, bully me. Bully me instead. He's not gonna do anything. I'll do something. And he just kind of was just okay, all right, I don't know why you're sticking up for him, but it's just I didn't see the impact that it had. I just thought, I don't like being bullied. I'm gonna stick up for this kid because it's not right. And later on in life, I ended up running into this kid at just an event that I was at, and I almost didn't recognize him because he was a totally different person now. Had confidence, was all over the place talking to people, and back then I remember him being this quiet kid that just didn't say anything. And he's like, Max, ran up to me at the party, and I'm like, Kyle? He's like, yeah. Hey, what's up? And he's like, I've been waiting so long to have this conversation with you. I'm like, what? And he's like, remember that day that you stood up for me on the bus in front of Nick? I prayed that day because I was getting bullied in class. The teacher wasn't doing nothing about it. The students weren't doing anything about it. And I said, I just must not belong here. I must just, and I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. And it's just I must just belong dead. And if I don't get a sign right now, today, God, I'm going home and I'm killing myself. And he told me those exact, looked me right in the eyes and told me that. And he said, I was praying when you actually stood up, and I was saying, well, God, this is my sign. When he said, right at that moment, you stood up and you were like, bully me. And it's he told me that he went on to just that was his sign to just keep living. And I was just holy cow, this is crazy. I had no idea, such a simple little gesture, or just to show somebody that you care, or just to do just that little bit extra. Because I know we all have these voices inside our head that kind of says hey, you should do this, and then you kind of ignore it. You don't help the person that you see struggling, but you kind of wanted to. And it's just sometimes you should listen to that voice that tells you do something good. It's such an ongoing thing with mental health, and mental health being a problem to the point where it becomes a problem to a point where it's a suicide. So I specifically wanted to do this video, and I wanted to pick it on this reason, and I wanted to do it with Perfect Paver Company because Like my whole entire quality of life changed. Like I just felt alone and like everybody was against me before I worked with Perfect Paper Company. And it's like I didn't realize that just changing your job up to something where this is the type of environment that I'm in now, where I don't feel alone. I could call on people if I need help. I could actually be what I want to be in life, and that's just like someone who you know can be looked up to. Like I have a daughter, and she looks up to me. You know, I can provide anything she wants. I can get her. You know, if she deserves it, but she always does. I notice when I wake up, I'm not dreading getting out of bed. It's more like, okay, I'm a little bit cranky because I just woke up, but in 10 minutes that passes because I realize I basically live in paradise and I'm able to work and thrive in a paradise like this. I want to do something further and make this donation and try to work hard and get some money for people who maybe weren't as fortunate as I was to make it out of something like that and then actually turn it into like somewhat, in my eyes, a success story. Back then, I didn't believe that I ever had a chance to grow out of that stage. Like if I were to look at myself back then, I wouldn't believe that I would ever came this far. I would have always just thought that I was gonna be stuck somewhere in that negative mentality. So I feel like it's important for people to be coming out of the woodwork saying like, yeah, I did try to commit suicide one time. It didn't work, I tried, and it wasn't meant to be, and thank God that it didn't happen, because if it did, I wouldn't be able to show you guys that there is something better.